Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you today, but I would have wanted to join you in this important gathering, but I have to attend the Development Cooperation Forum Symposium in Bamako in Mali. Better Aid, of course, is engaged not only in the Working Party and aid effectiveness, but also with the Development Cooperation Forum, as well as other sections, development areas of the OECD, as an open platform. An open platform is conceptualized to be not a set of discrete CSOs, a discrete set in a CSO network, but as a space where any CSO who wants to engage in the agenda of aid effectiveness can participate anytime they wish. The Better Aid is managed by a coordination group that is composed of more than 30 CSOs, both national, global, north, south, from different continents around the world. Currently, the focus of Better Aid's engagement is towards the Busan High-Level Forum 4, as well as the Development Cooperation Forum process that is biannual, managed by the ECOSOC. In both cases, countries, governments, CSOs, donor agencies, international organizations come together to discuss different aspects of effectiveness in development cooperation towards improving the behavior of different actors. And the Busan High-Level Forum is important because the Paris Declaration on aid effectiveness has ended. And Busan is the opportunity to craft a new agenda, to craft a new agreement on effectiveness in aid and development cooperation. There are a number of areas being discussed towards Busan. One is the question of evaluating, taking stock of where implementation on aid effectiveness has been and making commitments on taking that forward, as well as other issues on deepening the aid effectiveness agenda. And of course, Busan will also discuss the question of new donors, how to better integrate the whole gamut of development cooperation into a new aid architecture. Better Aid has embarked on a process that brings together CSO positions and have brought up the CSO demands, called the CSO asks, to Busan. There are 4 general areas and demands of the CSOs to Busan. One is to have a good evaluation of Paris and Accra and work towards strengthening and deepening its implementation. In Accra, we had actually taken the position that policy conditionality should be ended, tied aid should be ended, that there should be a better use of country systems to stop the use of parallel implementation units and so on. We have not achieved so much in Accra, but at Busan we hope that there will be a stronger commitment to achieve these aid effectiveness reforms. The second area, of course, is strengthening effectiveness towards achieving development results in the true sense of the word. The results agenda cannot be about value for money. It has to be about human rights and development for every person, both in the south and in the north, but especially on the poor and the marginalized. Thus, there has to be a focus on human rights for everyone. There has to be a focus on poverty and inequality, on women and sustainability. And this is what is called the Development Effectiveness Agenda. Third, we want that CSOs are able now to proclaim to the world their effectiveness, the Istanbul Principles, the enabling environment to be able to live up to the role of CSOs as independent actors in their own right. CSOs are not simply watchdogs or anti-corruption workers or not simply donors. They are independent actors. They are active voluntary organizations expressing their social solidarity for the people so that the poor or everyone are able to claim their rights. Finally, a fourth area of the CSO demands is promoting equitable and just development architecture. The current development architecture is premised on donors, such as the OECD DAC. A just and equitable development architecture recognizes the equality of countries, the special role of CSOs in them, and where everyone is able to take each other into account. Now, we have sought to keep these demands to a minimum, and so we have 10 demands. And as in Accra, where the CSO demands were endorsed by more than 800 CSOs from 90 countries around the world, we would like you to endorse these principles. We would like each and every one of the organizations in this meeting to be able to sign on to these documents. Thank you very much in advance. The Better Aid process has shown that CSOs have really come of age. Many donors and governments are confident at what the CSOs have shown as effective actors. They have shown their capacity to coordinate with Southern leadership the diverse, large network of CSOs around the world. They have shown their effectiveness to claim their seat in the multi-stakeholder working party, initiated by the Working Party and the Development Cooperation Forum, and pursuing issues of concern to the public, both in the North and in the South. They have shown their commitment and their capacity to live up to their commitments of CSO effectiveness, to conduct their role and voice as voluntary enablers of the people. And they have shown their commitment to develop the principles and framework of their own accountability. Now, the Northern CSOs have an important role to play in this. It has been asked if they are still relevant or they still have a role to play, but the affirmative partnership of Northern and Southern CSOs in Better Aid has been crucial in presenting clearly the voices of the people in moving aid effectiveness forward in Accra and on to Busan. A number of Irish NGOs have, along with others from the North, have actively participated in the intense policy and representation work that is being done by Better Aid, both at the Working Party, in the OECD, and at the Development Cooperation Forum, in a manner that effectively promotes development effectiveness, and as Southern CSOs strengthen their capacity in claiming their voices and pushing their agendas in national and international arenas, the role and the importance of Northern CSOs are also highlighted. Among these are: 1, the role of Northern CSOs are essential in their endorsement of Southern positions and leads to the strengthening of Southern voices. 2nd, their role is also essential in contributing in various forms of solidarity to the Southern movements of CSOs. And finally, the strengthening of Southern and global advocacy is an important role of Northern CSOs to address global injustice and inequity. This is very important because the centers of multilateral and international organizations tend to be centered in the North. Now, I believe that Northern CSOs have been doing good work but are not doing enough in affirmative action. And I mean by that, 1, that many of their voices do not reinforce Southern positions or sometimes weaken it. It is quite important that not only for Northern CSOs to act in conjunction with the South, but also that they are able to reinforce common positions that are affirmatively directed to Southern interests. Second, in many cases, Northern initiatives do not advance or empower Southern country and people's interests and positions. It is not enough to work for human rights of the people North and South. I think it is important that Northern CSOs speak about the imbalance of power between countries, between governments of the North and the South. The Better Aid asks, seek to establish a new framework for development cooperation and a new architecture that on one hand ensures a balance between Northern and Southern country governments, and on the other hand ensures the full participation of CSOs, as well as defines the place for CSO principles of accountability. Now, we believe that Northern CSOs should engage in the Better Aid and Open Forum process more actively, should push for the Better Aid asks and endorse the demand of CSOs that have been established, reviews and evaluates according to the Istanbul principles how they have lived up to the principles of aid effectiveness, and develop effective country level guidelines and indicators for voluntary mechanisms. And finally, act on solidarity in the true sense of the word for the people, especially those who are deprived of their rights in the South. Thank you very much.